Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a really powerful poem by Natasha Trethway called Genus Narcissus.
So the poem kicks off with this memory from the speaker's childhood. And it starts out sounding so simple, so innocent, a scene that probably feels pretty familiar to a lot of us, that small, heartfelt gift from a kid to a parent.
You can just picture it, right? The speaker, as a little girl, gathering wild daffodils on our walk home and giving them to her mother in a jar. It's a moment of just pure, simple pride, the kind of sweet memory you'd think would be cherished forever, no strings attached.
But here's the thing, the poem doesn't just leave it there. That beautiful memory starts to sour and twist into something way more ominous. What began as this simple gift starts to feel really heavy, like it's carrying some kind of hidden message the child couldn't have possibly understood.
A loving gift ends up as a treacherous whisper. Just think about that for a second. The beautiful flowers that were a symbol of love suddenly transform into something sinister.
So this is the central mystery we've got to solve. How in the world did this cherished moment become so menacing? The poem is like a puzzle, and to figure it out, we need to find the clues that are hidden in the language, the symbols, and even the myths. So let's start digging.
Okay, our very first clue is right there in the title, Genus Narcissus. Now that's not just the scientific name for daffodils. It's a huge flashing sign pointing us directly to ancient mythology.
Trethway is using what's known as a classical allusion. By referencing the myth of Narcissus, she's weaving this whole other layer of meaning right into the poem, basically inviting us to see this very personal memory through the lens of a classic, tragic story.
And check out this comparison. In the myth, you have Narcissus, who is so in love with his own reflection that it led to his death. While the adult speaker looks back and now sees a version of that same self-obsession in her own childish vanity. She remembers how she saw a piece of herself in those flowers, how they were bowed to meet its reflection, just like Narcissus staring into the water.
So the myth is one huge piece of the puzzle. But the next clue? It's not just in the myth, it's in the life cycle of the flower itself. The poem is packed with language that subtly hints at what's coming, a technique we call foreshadowing.
See, as a child, the speaker was completely oblivious to all this deeper meaning. She didn't know the story of Narcissus, and she didn't realize that the daffodils' brief bloom, their short spring, was actually a perfect and tragic symbol for something beautiful that's gone too soon.
And you can literally watch the poem's language, its diction, shift right before your eyes. We start off with the simple beauty of yellow daffodils. Then we get a little hint of tragedy with short spring. The mood gets even darker when they're compared to graveside flowers, and then boom, it becomes actively menacing with that whisper treacherous.
Okay, so we've got the allusion to the myth, and we've got the foreshadowing hidden in the flower's life. Now we can finally put all the pieces together and understand the poem's final absolutely heart-wrenching twist. This isn't just about a memory. It's about how that memory has been completely rewritten by tragedy.
Here's the key: context. We're not seeing this memory through a child's eyes anymore. We are seeing it through the eyes of an adult who has suffered an unimaginable loss. So much of Trethway's work in this collection is an elegy for her mother who was murdered, and this poem is a huge part of processing that grief.
And this is the final revelation. The whisper from those dying daffodils is now understood as a two-part prophecy. The speaker imagines the flowers delivering two distinct, chilling messages, one for the child she used to be, and one for the mother she lost. And that's the poem's tragic irony, right? This one single innocent gift is now remembered as carrying a dual curse. The flowers that were once about a child's pride are now seen as these terrible omens, a warning of self-obsession for the daughter and a prophecy of early death for the mother. A beautiful memory forever tainted by future sorrow.
And that really leaves us with this final thought. The poem is just such a powerful example of how an innocent memory can be completely transformed by grief and by knowledge. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What beautiful moments from our own pasts might look completely different now through the lens of what we've learned and who we've lost since.